So SR's 70mm polished intake we've got here today is going to be a good option for any of my 2-valve GT owners out there that are after a high flow intake, plenum, and throttle body all in one. It's going to give you a small bump in horsepower, it's going to look great under the hood, but most importantly, it's not going to burn a hole in your pocket. A great thing about this is that it's going to install pretty easily with basic hand tools. For that, you're going to be looking at an easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter here, about 30 minutes to an hour job. I'll have a little bit more for you coming up on that later. So throttle intakes are a great way to force more air into your Mustang's motor, but this always doesn't translate to more power. Now, you've probably seen some other throttle body or intake options out there, and the 70mm is going to be for a stock or a mild bolt-on car. So the bigger options like 73 or 75 are going to be for heavily modified cars, something that's going to be running forced induction. Now, larger intakes can actually bog down your motor, and it's going to be like the equivalent of you or me trying to take a drink or a sip out of a fire hose. So if you're the daily driver that has a couple of bolt-ons, this is going to be the right mod for you. Now, this thing doesn't require a tune either, which is always nice, but a general rule of thumb here says that you should probably expect to be seeing high single-digit to low double-digit gains, but paired with a tune, those numbers are going to be fluctuating. So at this point, you're probably asking yourself, well, what's the difference between this throttle intake and a standalone throttle body? This is a 2-for-1 deal, for lack of a better term, because you're getting a built-in throttle body and a larger plenum at the same time. Now, the bonus with this is you're pushing the right amount of air into your motor that you might with a throttle body of the same size or stock plenum. And not only that, this thing just looks that much cooler. The plenum's rounded off, which will look great with a polished cold air intake, and you can actually see the exposed throttle control. I'm just going to handle the butterfly valve inside, which, you know, it's pretty old school and it looks cool. Now, the stock intake plenums on the 2 valves tend to get pitted or corroded, whereas with this, you're going to be getting a polished finish that won't fade or dull as long as you clean it up every now and then, and it's going to help pick up some style points at local shows or get-togethers. In terms of the pricing here, guys, expect to be spending about $250 to get this onto your car, which is a bargain in my opinion, compared to some of the other styles out there like AccuFab, for example, which can run upwards of about $500. Now, we do have a BBK unit on site, which is going to run closer to $300. Your main difference there is going to be that it's just going to have a dark charcoal finish, but it still will be made up of the same materials. Now, compared to just picking up a throttle body, this is something, in my opinion, that's going to be that much more of a viable option, because you are going to be getting that increased diameter of the throttle body along with the addition of the plenum, which ultimately is going to yield higher numbers. Now, install-wise, great things about throttle bodies or combos like this is that they install with little to no effort at all. You're looking at a basic 30-minute to an hour job with a basic socket set and an easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. So you're going to begin by unplugging your negative battery terminal, followed by the front vacuum line and a TPS and idle air control connection. After that, remove the 2 bolts holding the EGR onto the back of the plenum with the additional bolts securing throttle cable bracket to the plenum. And once that's done, guys, undo your throttle body hose clamp along with the 5 bolts that are holding the plenum to the manifold. But once that's done, guys, it's more or less just going to be buttoning everything back up, checking your connections, making sure everything's ready to rock, and that's it. So that's going to wrap up my quick review and breakdown of SR 70mm throttle intake and the polished finish, fitting the 1996 through 2004 Mustang GT that can be found right here at AmericanMuscle.com.